Perception is not reality. Do yourself a favor and recognize this as early in your life as possible. In the Army, I was once laying down under a weapons system trying to fix it with the headlamp on, along with one of my battle buddies, when one of our superiors walked by and murmured that I should stop sleeping. I quickly responded, "I'm not sleeping." He said, "Yeah, right." My buddy then popped his head out and said, "No, he's not sleeping. We're fixing this." Feeling a little embarrassed by his mistake, that's when he explained that for some people, perception is reality. I had a science teacher in high school. This reminded me of him. His name was Mr. Walker, Keith Walker, I think. Sergeant Walker at the time. He was in the Army Reserves. Good guy, by the way. I should probably look him up on Facebook or something. So I had kind of this throwback moment where I remembered him explaining to us that some people are idiots, and then described the art of acting busy. A buddy of mine I knew in the Air Force told me always have a broom in your hand. That's more of an Air Force thing, I think. In either case, I never had any interest in acting busy. I was always far more interested in fundamentals and first principles, metrics, and productivity, which may as well be a mental condition, seeing as being logical is so far outside the norm. As you can imagine, this has not fared me well in many of my jobs I've had over the years. The first job I had was working as a patient transport technician or something like that. I forget the title. Basically, we would take patients back and forth to CAT scan or whatever. And I forget what the reasonable amount of patients transported in one 8-hour shift was. It was something like maybe 12 patients or something. They told me when I started that there was an Employee of the Year award or something like that, and you get like a $1,000 bonus or something. I'm completely off on the numbers, I'm sure. But I was like, I'm going to get that. I'm going to get that bonus. I'm going to get that patient transport tech of the year bonus for sure. And even before that, I was hustling because someone I know got me that job, and I wanted them to not regret having given me the job. The only thing standing in my way of this award was a guy who was an all-star tech. His numbers were high. They were like, forget about it. You're never going to beat his numbers. He's averaging like 24 patients a day or something like that. Forget the guy's name, but anyway, he was like an older guy who was pretty much on the verge of retiring, but I don't know, maybe he was retired, quasi-retired, right? But like he was a Marine back in the day, or I guess once a Marine, always a Marine. And so he had a strong work ethic and he was good at what he did. But anyways, I didn't smoke. I took fast breaks. I didn't mess around. I did what I was supposed to do. And after the first year I was there, they looked at everybody's numbers, and I averaged like something like 40 patients a day. I would have like 2 wheelchairs at a time. I'd be like, I can stop by this floor, get this patient, and then on the way get another patient, and I have a wheelchair in the left hand, wheelchair in the right hand. And while I'm down there, I can get another call by moving some stretchers around. And honestly, I forget. I don't remember how many calls I attended to in a day. Maybe it wasn't 40, but I was about 3 or 4 times more productive than the average employee. But I got paid the same, which is fine. The point is, I was saving them a lot of money. I was 3 employees for the price of 1. So then the time came for them to announce the Employee of the Year. Oh, I should also mention that the director of the department gave me a little plaque at one point around this time after my first year there. It was Perfect Attendance Award. I had never called in sick. I had never taken a vacation. I still haven't. I've taken off work for 2 days at a time, and in order to work more, that's about it. I've traveled in order to work, but I digress. At the time, so I had never used any of my vacation days or sick days. I arrived early, I left late, and the Employee of the Year award goes to the supervisor, Steve's friend, Sean or Joe or something, I forget his name. A guy who tended to about 5 or 6 tasks a day. So in the midst of all I was doing, something I was not doing was I was not hanging out in the smoking area with the other employees. I was not hanging out in the employee lounge. I didn't play video games. I didn't go to anyone's video game parties or their houses to play whatever the Madden, I think, was the game at the time. And I didn't go to the bar after work. So when the boss gave his friend the Employee of the Year bonus, that's when I said, Aha. I see how this goes. I see how life works. Life is not just a matter of hard work. You also need the civil affairs skills. Something I still don't bother myself with now, not nearly as much as I should. So not only was I not rewarded for doing a good job, I was clearly punished as I got the hardest assignments. I was moved to another shift where it was a busier time of day. I was punished for doing a good job. And this has happened to me at many other jobs throughout my life. However, not in the Army. I was fortunate enough to have gotten good advice by my recruiter, who told me, don't be a hero. Just be the gray man. Do what you need to do. Don't try and stand out and be a stud. I took his advice and life was fine, although I did notice other people who were always trying to impress the leadership, and all they got themselves into was more work and the same paycheck I got. Anyway, I digress. There are way too many caveats to go down that road. Yes, hard work pays off in some contexts. The point is that for most people, perception is reality. And don't be one of those people. I take rather obsessive notes. Every 45 minutes, I stop what I'm doing and take a note, which used to be on a notepad, although since the advent of the smartphone, it is now on a smartphone. Naturally, people think that I'm texting all the time. No one seems to ask themselves how productive I'm being. You may tell a joke to a subordinate that isn't funny at all, and after they fail to give you a courtesy laugh, you may be tempted to walk away shaking your head, saying, well, they don't have a sense of humor. Someone may not agree with your views and you'll think them an idiot. My friends, perception is not reality. And part of growing up is learning not to be bothered by others. I'm weird. I'm a strange person. I don't act the way other people act, as much as I want to and as much as I try. This is incredibly bothersome to a lot of people. For as long as I can remember, I've received nothing but criticism. Few people bother to say, look at how productive I've been in life or am being, or my bank account, or the cleanliness of my house, or really any measurable performance. Strangely enough, I've noticed throughout my time on Earth that a lot of normies do really weird things. Like if you were to get inside of their personal lives, you'd find out that they do really weird stuff. They have some weird fetish or something. And for a weird person like me, I don't actually do any weird things. If you were to watch me 24 hours a day or watch me at home by myself, you'd be bored, quite frankly. I don't really do anything too strange, in my opinion. But I certainly don't act the way other people act, and that is nearly intolerable to most people. And as a result, I tend to not spend time with people, because there's a part of me that knows that it's only a matter of time before I disappoint them in some way. And I know what a lot of people are thinking, just do you. And I do. I just do me. And there are some who say, well, you shouldn't care what other people think. And there I disagree. I do care what other people think, and I think I should. I don't usually change my behavior because of it. Being bothered by others is a you problem as far as I'm concerned. Regardless, the point of all this is question things, especially yourself, as I will continue to question myself and my perceptions. Try not to make assumptions. And as you navigate life, remember this: perception is not reality.